Welcome to the stream, and those who may be back here, welcome back, of course, as we fade out on Panzer Dragoon, the soundtrack for it, which is a lovely, lovely game, which is actually getting remastered. It seems like a lot of people don't really realize this, but it's actually getting remastered on the Nintendo Switch. Not really kind of like remastered, but like remade, like better graphics, new control scheme, which has some purists, like, stamping their feet, like, how dare they? You're supposed to be able to barely move with this thing. It's like, well, times have changed. The original game came out over 25 years, almost 25 years ago. It's like, you gotta adapt. Nobody really complained too much when Resident Evil 2 came out with the full, remake. In fact, it was highly praised, so say what you will about that. But the goal for tonight is actually play some Double Switch at first, get some practice in. Because I have the record now, technically, for the 25th anniversary edition of Double Switch on the PC Steam version. That got accepted through for speedrun.com. And now I want to do a run on the Sega Saturn. However, the Saturn has some quirks of its own, like the phone box trap and the column trap in the lobby are like ridiculous. It seems like they're almost frame-perfect inputs, so I need to kind of practice through that. Unfortunately, you only get to those areas on Disc 2. So I think there's a way to save your game when you beat the first disc, which will make things a little bit easier. But you have to get there first, which isn't going to be really a big problem at all. And yes, I'm using a real Sega Saturn for this. Using my lovely RetroTink 2X, which took freaking months to get. Alright. Okay, good. It still saved all the fun stuff there. Good, good, good. Alright. So this is not a speedrun right now. I'm just basically going through practicing. I just need to get past the first disc to get to disc 2, which will then be a save point. And from that point, then I can save and reload, and it's going to start at disc 2, which kind of sucks. Like, there's not an emulator that runs this game quite right just yet. Chronos and RetroArch, the plugin for that, does a better job. It's a little more decent, but there's still a lot of graphical garbage on the game, so you can't really do like save states right now at the moment. And I am roasting hot. It is. We do not have the air conditioning on right now, and it is just like humid as hell outside. And unfortunately, I can't use the fan right now, because that's just be way too loud. It'd be picking up on the stream. Alright, here we go. Let's get this going.
Eddie, there's someone in my apartment. Stay here and cover me while I check things out.
This should be a teeter-totter guy. Nope. Actually, yeah, it's teeter-totter. And then usually a lamp guy comes in here. No, that's Mummy. Okay, interesting.
Hey, stop scoping me. If I want your help, I'll ask for it. Got it?
Hey, Nimix, what's up? Yep, so my 25th anniversary run got accepted in. So now I want to do a Sega Saturn run, but unfortunately with this version, there is like the phone box trap in disc 2. is like frame perfect, so I gotta figure out like the best way to trigger it so I can eventually do a run on this and get it submitted too. So I was thinking like maybe I'll do the Japanese Sega CD version someday, and I'm like, probably not. That version's not that fun. Even though it was the first one, it's just so much harder to pull off. I've always wanted to trap Brutus, so now is the time to do it.
What are you trapping Brutus for? How many times do I have to tell you, we don't trap tenants. We need the money.
That's cool. Like I said, I've never trapped Brutus before, so I was wondering what happened. Willing to task this. It's pretty much almost close to what I do for the speedrun. Wouldn't be too much different, really.
Oh, no. Boom. Yeah, all right. Good job. Good job. That should slow him down. Very nicely done.
Instead, like, I wouldn't be like I'd pretty much be able to hit everybody. I think it's actually impossible to get everybody in this game. Like, you'd have to let one or two of them go. So this game, it's not really a whole lot about the time, which is what the guy who set up Double Switch for the speedrun.com page, he's like, personally, I'm just more interested in how many people get trapped. So I was impressed that I had like 103, and I'm like, well, it's a lot easier when you have a 6-button controller to do it, versus the Sega CD, which was a 3-button setup, which makes it a lot harder to quickly navigate and set up traps. So would you call that kind of category? I had no idea.
You love it, don't you?
Brutus and the gang. Mr. Powerbox. I just love how smooth this version is. Like, you trigger a trap, it doesn't have that extra 1 or 2 frames of like the wrong animation.
I got 2 more hours.
Scared you, huh?
On his dying deathbed, he told me there was treasure buried in this building.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, well, you're the type of person next who just likes, you love puzzles, and that's exactly what a task is, really.
All over this room.
I'll bet if you took geometry, you probably like that too. Or maybe not, because geometry, it's like there's multiple ways to solve the problem, and all of them wrong except for one, even though everyone's correct. It's like, it's why I flunked geometry.
You tell Luigi and Mario their days are numbered.
When I was in high school, they kept trying to make me take geometry. They're like, you have to take geometry in order to pass. I'm like, I don't understand geometry because I don't follow your rules. I don't understand it. If I do my steps and it still solves the problem, why is it wrong? And they're like, well, you have to know it in order to do Algebra 2, Calculus, and Trig. I'm like, bullshit. And I literally told them bullshit. I'm like, give me the test, I'll prove to you right now I know trigonometry, I know calculus, and that's exactly what I did. And they're like, okay, well, you have to take a remedial math class in, because you have to have some kind of math class in order to graduate. So they put me in, like, with people who didn't know how to, like, balance checkbooks and, like, simple addition, subtraction, things like that nature. I'm like, oh my god.
Ah, great, great. You got the code number, great.
I was actually helping my friends with their trig,
Very,
like,
very
during,
good.
like, breaks and stuff like that, because we had, like, open campus, so, like, we also had an open schedule for one of our
Right,
classes.
let me level with you.
So I'd be there hanging out with my friends and be doing, like, their trig homework. Like, hey Ken, how would you solve this one? I'd help them with their math. Like, wait a minute, aren't you in the remedial math class? I'm like, yeah.
Camera on for you. Keep an eye on my place. Don't let nobody knows around here. Code numbers.
Alright, here we go. Start the save game. Let's see, let's just type in phone. Yeah. Okay, switch out the discs. Alright, so now I have the save on disc 2, which is going to be a little bit faster. It'll be nice, but... Pardon me, unfortunately, I think like the phone trap doesn't come into play until like about 3/4 of the way through the act. It's kind of lame. In case you forgot who made the game you're playing. Nope, just missed. Hey, it's past the tea powder. I could just go to another room, but I'll dangerously climb out on this window instead. With my gun in my hand to make it even harder to make sure I can grip on stuff.
We are here on behalf of his legacy.
This may be the most important find of the decade if it's real.
There it is. The statue.
Get them!
He's out. He's a teeter-totter. A lot of people are hard on this game, but I think it's like, it's gotten a little bit better reception as the years have gone on. I see a lot more people referencing it.
Stand over there. I want to get a picture of you for my story.
Is there RNG? Not really. There's actually set patterns that seems to load up on. As far as I can tell, it's probably about 1 of 3 patterns at the start. I'm just missing everybody left and right. Not really a way to make it faster, unfortunately. I mean, you can get like the perfect time, so to speak, and like the big thing would basically be trapping every single person. Would be the big thing.
Eddie's electronic world.
Excuse me, sir, but your life...
Record producer.
Yeah, sure.
Watch out for this one.
Yeah, this was made about 3 years, I think, after the first game came out. So they probably still had everything there available to them. And like I said, the 25th anniversary edition actually had all the footage, but they just didn't have, for whatever reason, Sega or Digital Pictures, I think it was Digital Pictures, didn't give them the original timing codes for everything. Pardon me. So that's why I had to play this version of the game and try to write down, okay, 20 minutes, 5 seconds, Grad's room or band room, mummy trap comes out, or mummy character, you know, whatever comes out. And they had to basically try to reprogram the game that way by playing this version, scribbling it down as quickly as possible, and then trying to reprogram the game to match it, which is why things are off and timings are all screwed up. Whereas back when they made this, it was just only a couple years later, and it was just not too hard for them to really kind of get their hands on the stuff and get it going.
But just don't put me on hold again. No! Well, you know, don't bother to knock.
Well, I didn't.
More time I spend on this story. Eddie's so-called security system is actually just a perverse extension of his own insecurity. Wow, that's pretty good.
Gotta save her.
That's good, Jeff. That's really good. Who are you supposed to be, Ramses? No, Tutmos? Jeff? Come on, Jeff, you're scaring me.
And the correct timing, yay!
Now, I know you think Eddie's your... When he does, use this.
Haven't really seen the dancing mobster yet. Ah, crap. It's gonna be game over. Okay, let's try restarting. I'm trying to get the load. May have gone the wrong menu. Restore save game. Okay. Not sure what he flinched at. So something I just kind of thought of and noticed right now. So that long-haired green henchman guy, you don't get him on the elevator trap. He just comes downstairs and then hops over the computer desk to get where Eddie, what used to be with his computer, and cuts the phone lines, cuts the power that way. That's where Eddie was trapped in the beginning of the game. So, like, he couldn't crawl under or walk over his desk to go up the stairs to get out. Kind of confusing. Someone didn't think that death through. They're like, yeah, we'll just have this guy, you know, if you don't trap him, then he cuts off the phone lines or the powers and everyone's done. It's like, wait a minute. That doesn't make sense.
Your father.
There it is. A statue.
Get them!
Hey there, I want to get a picture of you for my story.
Story? What story?
The one I'm doing on the Edward Arms.
Excuse me.
the police.
Okay, wait. Give me the statue. I'll hide it up in my room.
Okay.
Okay, go.
Excuse me, sir, but your life may be in imminent danger.
Huh. I don't need you to tell me that, mister.
Over this building.
Yeah, sure.
Watch out for this one.
Sorry I'm late, guys.
Yeah, you are late.
I'm gonna get you!
Hamlin from Zoo Records. You have 3 minutes.
Excellent. Have a seat, sir.
Well, don't bother to knock.
Well, I'm sorry, ma'am. Check this out.
And I call that tunnel vision. I'm striking ball true. And I call that tunnel vision.
More. Eddie's so-called security system is actually just a perverse extension of his own insecurity. Wow, that's pretty good.
Okay. I was thinking, like, crap, this might be bad.
Can't hear you.
Kinda grim.
Jeff,
Blanchard.
that's really good. Who are you supposed to be, Ramses? No, Tutmos? Jeff? Come on, Jeff, you're scaring me.
Now, I know you think Eddie's your friend. He does. Use this. Now, what we got here is another one of Eddie's secret alcove traps.
Alright, got him this time.
What are you doing here?
This guy is just about impossible. I wonder if it's actually broken in this game, in this version. I really don't know if it is or not.
Eddie's been cooped up in here long.
That it would. But the question is, can you actually task this game? Because this game doesn't really run well on emulators right now at the moment.
There's something.
Look, it's dangerous.
Hey. Come on, man. Chill out, chill out.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'd have to get like the latest version of Blitzhawk and try it, because I tried it for Sega Saturn stuff a while ago.
No problem.
And it just wasn't running well. It was like, I don't know, if people like who were doing the emulation or tasks for it are like editing out stutters or whatnot. Because I was asking around, people were like, oh yeah, it just stutters like crazy. I'm like, well, how are you making tasks with it then? Yeah, Sega CD wouldn't be a problem, but I mean, but Sega Saturn would be.
Built this trap myself to keep Eddie away from the phone line.
Anything he says, all right? Do you know why he hates me?
This is Sega Saturn, is what this is. Yeah, Sega CD has even less video quality. It's stuck into like a small window in the upper right-hand corner in order to like fit more video on there because they had to have lower quality. So this is the Sega Saturn version. The very, very good looking version I was playing was the Steam version, which is the 25th anniversary. There we go, said it correctly this time. 25th anniversary edition. And that's the one where they just have like the remastered, cleared up direct footage, you know, that they're able to do now. Whereas back then, I mean, this for the longest time before the 25th anniversary edition came out, the Sega Saturn version I'm playing right now was the best, highest quality version of this game. He's a teeter-totter, but he takes forever to get there.
A really good
Okay,
job.
so here we go.
I mean,
This one is
great.
really hard to get. This is what ends my runs for this.
No, you ought to come over sometime and we'll get together. Maybe next time, sucker.
For all the problems that the 25th anniversary has, which is numerous, at least they made it so it's easier to trap him on that one for the phone box trap, because I just did that one just briefly before, and then in the past I've done it right before, like right as he touches it, and it still doesn't do it. So that's what's basically ending my runs. Is that little stupid trap right there, and that comes into play, I think, a total of 2 more times. You have the long-haired guy in the green robes. He grabs it twice throughout the rest of the, like he does in one on disc 2, or act 2, which is on right now, and then once in act 3. That's cool. No problem. I'll be here and I give it another go through and then probably figure out what else to play. So go do whatever you gotta do. Play real quick. Gotta hit my inhaler real fast because the window's open and asthma. Be right back in a second.
Seen your face in a movie, and I'm crying at the moon, and I call that tunnel vision, and I'm scratching for the truth, and I call that tunnel vision. Yeah, switch to tunnel vision.
Alright, so I really got to figure out what in the world that timing is. Because I've actually beaten it on... I've beaten this version before, but we're talking like 20 years ago when I got this. I can kick the 25th anniversary's butt, no problem, but... Man, oh man. Phone, that's the one.
This place would be Crater City. Now, if you mess with me, you're gonna get it. You got it?
We'll see about that.
The old man just doesn't get it, does he?
I may have...
Society. We are here on behalf of its legacy.
This may be the most important find of the decade if it's real.
There it is. A statue.
Get them!
Hey, you know what? Stand over there. I want to get a picture of you for my story.
Story? What story?
The one I'm doing on the Edward Arms. Eddie's electronic world is apparently deserted. is he up to here? And who's operating the controls?
I don't need you to tell.
Building.
Yeah.
I'm a singer. Torch songs mostly.
Haha! Self-deprecating humor.
Sorry I'm late, guys. Yeah, you are late.
From Zoo Records, you have...
No!
Well, you know, don't bother to knock.
Well, I'm sorry, ma'am, but this is an emergency. Check this out.
I'm scratching ball through, and I call that tunnel vision.
The more time I spend on this story, the more I'm surprised at how nothing is as it seems. It is actually just a perverse extension of his own insecurity. Wow, that's pretty good.
That's good, Jeff. That's really good. Who are you supposed to be, Ramses? No, Tutmos? Jeff?
Nope.
Come on, Jeff, you're scaring me.
I'm pretty sure the dancing guy's broken on this version.
When he does, use this. Now, what we got here is another one of Eddie's.
Yeah, you can't get her at the same time. Hey, Jay. Yeah. I mean, how do you kill something, one, that's dead, and two, doesn't have any of its organs? Doesn't have its heart, spleen, liver, kidneys, brain. I mean, it's not like you can do a headshot and kill it. Yes, not my spleen, anything but that. That makes me always wonder. It's like, you always hear like zombies are like brains, brains. Brains are hard to get into. Your skull is very thick. Even on the sides, it's still hard to get into. Which is what cracks me up about like The Walking Dead. They just have knives that just plunge in the skulls like it's nobody's business when that wouldn't really happen too easily. But, like, you never hear zombies yell, skin, spleen, something easier to get at, you know? I think this guy down here is a game over if I don't get him. Yep. Yeah, so check this out. It's gonna game over. So he jumps off that. This is where Eddie's at, okay? So why was Eddie trapped in the basement when there's obviously stairs he could have just gone up and been out of? He's supposed to be trapped in this special room over here. Alright, we'll give it one more go. I'll switch up some games. Play something different. Unfortunately, like, the phone trap is, like, 3/4 of the way through this act. Which really sucks, and that emulation right now can't really play this game too well. There's some problems with it in that it puts, like, graphical garbage up on the screen. Yeah, it's like he knows exactly which one to flip. It's amazing. Let me check something here real quick. Yeah. Gotta plug in the controller real quick. Yes, I should write like an angry letter to Digital Pictures that doesn't exist anymore, but Tom Zito's still around. Dear Tom Zito, are you aware of this error that I spotted in your 25-year-old video game that you probably forgot you ever produced? Let's see. So let's do this. Mount to the virtual drive. Let's try this then. There we go. Okay. So, let's see. Let's turn that off. Black screen. Turn this on. Loading. Okay. That was probably way too loud. CD drive, clone drive. Start over. This is SSF, which is a Sega Saturn emulator. Yeah, we're going to turn that down a little bit. Try this again. It's kind of temperamental, like you have to have everything set up just right. Loading not right. Overload. GPU rendering on. Thank you very much. So this is like really annoying. It's like you make any change, it's like restart the application. It's like, God, geez, learn to program your crap, man. Do I have the BIOS set up right? Yeah, it's still not running right. Okay. So this is what happens when you try to run double switch in SSF. It just doesn't work. Mount. Then in RetroArch we have look content, directory, tools, rips, because I ripped my own disk, Q. I think it's Kronos is the only one that works kind of alright. When it feels like loading up, come on. You can do it. There we go. This emulator seems to work. Looks all good there, but then you start up the game, and there's like... You have that happening.
Hi. My name is Eddie. I need your help.
Maybe this is the only emulator that comes like really close to playing it.
Sucks. I built all these traps and security systems to protect the people who live here. The problem is some bonehead.
You can still technically play it. That's right, they moved to the L. I changed it to R.
Eddie, there's someone in my apartment.
And also, it's not running full speed. You can see it does work, but it's getting closer, so hopefully soon they'll get this running correctly, because that'd be nice. Because that would allow me to do like a save state to practice certain things, like practice that phone trap that I've been trying to do accurately, without having to worry about, you know, okay, get 3/4 of the way through the act, you finally get the phone trap, and then you miss it and you're hosed, you gotta go all the way back again. Elgato, there we go. He did. That man was like, I'm gonna get an Oscar for this. You don't actually get Oscars for video games? What? Who told you this? Yeah, and this is like... Saturn was pretty hard to develop for to begin with. It was like the PlayStation 3 of its day. It was powerful, but it was just like really tricky to and hard to develop for, and Sega did not make it easy. Developers would be like, hey, can you help us do stuff? They're like, sure. Here's a manual. It's 10,000 pages long, and it's all in Japanese. Translate it yourself. It's like, they would literally pull that stuff on like people like Americans trying to program for the Sega Saturn at first. It's like, are you kidding me? It's like you think you would want to be like, okay, let's get this translated, let's spend the money, translate it in English, let's get more people on board so they can figure out how to program for our machine, get better games out, but Sega just made so many stupid mistakes. And I think this actually might be RNG, I'm not sure, for the patterns that come out and start. Because I think disc 1 is like 1 of 3 when it starts up. And actually still triggered, I'm surprised.
My hero, come on in. Hey, you know what? Stand over there. I want to get a picture of you for my story.
Story? What story?
The one I'm doing on the Edward Arms.
is over here. Missed.
When Jeff and I were down in the lobby, there were these weirdos that went ballistic the second they saw the statue. They're after us. I'm calling the police.
Okay, wait. Give me the statue.
Excuse me, sir, but your life may be...
I'm here to audition the band.
Being attacked by, like, mobsters.
I'm a singer. Torch songs, mostly.
And, like, ninjas in green outfits. I just love that Torch songs little jab. Debbie Harry made fun of herself, like, I'm a singer. Torch songs, which are, like, basically songs about unrequited love, which was what Blondie mostly did. It's like, that was funny. Haha.
I'm gonna get you!
Nobody was injured, but just don't put me on hold again. No!
No, not there. Over here, please. Check this out.
And I call that tunnel vision. I'm striking ball true. And I call that tunnel vision.
It's like, quick, what's the lyrics to 1812 Overture? Cannon fire, boom. Although, if you want to make the 1812 Overture more interesting, actually play it next time you see an orchestra playing it there. If you're in charge of it, have actual cannons fire into the crowd. That will make it a lot better.
What am I spend on this story? His so-called security system is actually just a perverse extension of his own insecurity. Wow, that's pretty good.
Jeff, that's really good. Who are you supposed to be, Ramses? No.
This game needs Wilhelm Scream, though. That's like the one thing it doesn't have is Wilhelm Scream.
Come on, Jeff, you're scaring me.
Because, I mean, you're knocking them out of a window onto the ground. They're like 2-3 stories up.
Now, I know you think Eddie's your friend.
It's like everyone else just falls in a little trap and they get out and they walk around like, ha ha ha, we're okay. These people are dying, I'm sure.
Use this.
You hear him scream, and it's a pretty decent long fall. Yeah, she comes through the window. I mean, she's like on the windowsill outside, coming in. It's like the mobsters do for like the teeter-totter trap you see.
Now, what we got here is another one of
Eddie's alcove traps. I power this one by swearing at it and asking what its malfunction is. And that's what makes me wonder, like, why the bad guys are like, they go into a room and then they just go and exit the window. It's like, why aren't you just using the doors? You're inside. Splat. Like, set him to auto trigger whenever somebody steps on him. Be a smarter idea, but then we wouldn't have much of a game. Too slow. Alright, got him. That's a game over if you don't, which is what happened last time. I mean, the ones that Eddie's father activates. Yeah, why are they deactivated at first? That's a good question. I just think it's... You know, of course, it's game-wise, it's just so that way you're not overwhelmed at first, so you only have 2 choices per room, so you can figure it out and get better. And of course, as difficulty goes up, then you have 3 traps. Then you have to worry about deactivating traps when Jeff comes through. So I'm guessing part of the thing is that, like, some of them, he says, like, Eddie doesn't know about this particular trap, but... So I'm guessing he built it himself instead of Eddie? You know, it's kind of like a weird thing. I mean, game logic, story, video game stuff always falls apart when you stop to think about it, but I mean, this game is definitely one of those things to do. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright. But sometimes, I mean, that's half the fun, though. I mean, like, I can totally destroy Scooby-Doo. Yeah, so this guy, I'm pretty sure, is impossible. I am positive he is broken on this version of the game.
Eddie's been cooped up in here a long time.
Just like me, I'm lonely. I have needs. I'm the gunny.
Jeff, look out! What's up? My God, it's not a joke. It's dangerous.
So we're in an apartment, so did they come from his basement?
Chill out, chill out.
It's like, you're on a top floor apartment, he came up from the floor. Is that like a penthouse? Like a 2-story penthouse or something? Or... Yeah, once again... Logic.
Here we go.
Gilligan's Island is one of my favorite things to poke apart. Teeter-totter, he takes forever. I think this is a punch. Yep. Just missed.
One that even Eddie does.
Yeah, so Eddie apparently doesn't know about this trap, so...
Built this trap myself to keep Eddie away from the phone line.
Hopefully some jerk doesn't make it so it's frame perfect.
He says, all right? Do you know why he hates me?
Because I'm not Corey Feldman, that's why. He wishes I was the other Corey. Now I'm in the broom closet. I don't know why I'm here. Window of death. There's a splat sound effect when he hits the ground, I swear. I'm going to go back. I'm going to clip that. I am sure that there is a splat sound. Like something breaking, either his bones or something. That is a fatal trap. I don't care if this game is like kid-friendly type deal version of Night Trap. That dude is dead. Here we go. All right.
I thought I was a goner, didn't you? No, you ought to come over sometime and we'll get together. Maybe next time, sucker.
Okay, so last time I did it right before he touched it. Now I did it as he touched it. But maybe it's after? I mean, it's like maybe you have to wait for the audio sound for it, which doesn't make sense because the screen's already black at that point. So I'm not quite sure. Thank you. Yeah, if you can post that here into the chat, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's broken, but you have to take my word for it. Yeah, that's right. I had that ready to go. Okay. There's a splat sound effect when he hits the ground, I swear. Oh yeah. It's not like a splat, but it's like you can hear like something breaking. Like some kind of impact on the ground. That dude is dead. Or at very least, like Austin Powers, like, hello, I'm still alive. I've broken both my bones rather badly. I'm in a lot of pain. Yeah, I see bones sticking out through my leg, but I'm going to attempt to stand. Oh god, it's broken even worse. Alright. Let's switch up games. I will tackle that more off stream so you don't have to keep seeing me play like Act 2 over and over and over up to that point, because it's just like that is literally the run killer. So once I figure it out for Eddie, now I got to figure it out for the other guy. When's Lifeline? Never. Oh my god. So Metal Jesus Rocks flunky Reggie. I got into a fight with that guy. I mean, I've tangoed with that dude before. But he's like, Lifeline's a great game that controls really well. I'm like, what game were you playing? Because Lifeline doesn't control worth crap. I mean, it's terrible. He's like, it controls just fine. You gotta make sure you talk evenly into it. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's like, and like a lot of people were coming to his defense, like, oh, it's such a great game, and you know, it controls it. It's just you know, like apparently your voice sucks. Like I listened to some of your videos, you got a scratchy voice. I'm like, yeah, it's because I got vocal cord damage, but I can still be understood. So that's crazy, but yeah, I was getting into it with him about that. Let's see. Looking for a game real quick in my collection. There it is. Alright. Plug in the sudo so I can get around the region lockout. Let's see what this is.
Green. Walk.
Yep.
Red.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, just about. The favorite one, though, was when Adam Sessler was doing a show in the United States called X-Play, which is a video game review show at the time. He was playing this game. It's just like, just bark like a dog. And she's like, small dog or little dog? And starts barking. And he's like, looks at the camera like, what was that? It's like, he had to come on like screen after and say like, we did not edit that in. That is in the game. And it is. Yeah, but I also like went toe-to-toe with Reggie as well, with him not being prepared on Metal Jesus Rocks videos. I mean, MJR is like, he is like nothing but a clickbait schlock. Just like, here's a hidden gem I've never heard of. I'm pretty sure I'm saying this right. It's Super Mario Brothers. Now this came out for the Nintendo. Very obscure game nobody ever played. Can you tell me more about it? Let's go to Reggie. Reggie, can you tell me more about this game? Yeah, so I don't really know about this game. I just brought it along because it looks cool. I don't know anything about this. Okay, great, let's talk about this other game. It's like, every single segment he's on, like, at the time, he had, like, no idea what the hell the games were he brought. He's like, I brought this game, I don't even know how to say it. It's like, well, here's the cool thing about every single Sega Saturn and Japanese PlayStation game. One side's in Japanese, the other side is in English. Every single game, even if it didn't leave Japan, has English on one side. So it's like, he's like, I don't even know what this game's called. It's like, flip it around, read the non-Japanese side, it's in English. You can at least see what the name of the game is. He was bringing out stuff and had like no idea what the hell it was. It was maddening, and I went after him for that. I'm like, dude, why are you not prepared for this? And he was like pissed. He was like, how dare you? You know, it's like, I'm putting out content and, you know, it's really hard for me to do this stuff. And I'm like, don't go on to, if you know you're going to your friend's house who makes a YouTube channel, and he tells you, bring games, I'm making a video, you better know what the hell you're bringing. And like after that, he became more prepared when he'd show up. I was like, thankfully, but I mean, yeah, I went after him for a while for that. Like he was like directly responding back to me, pissed off. All right, so this is the Japanese version. I just want to check something out real quick because on the new version, it was basically like you go inside indoors. And all of a sudden the roof caves in. And I thought that the roof caved in always. And Saturn Memories, he's like, oh no, it actually gets bombed by the bad guys. I'm like, I don't remember that. So, we're going to play through this. Humanity lost its powers, something was born, blah blah blah. Basically, humanity's in the crapper. Story's not important. Just fly and shoot. But now that I have a pseudo Saturn, I can actually burn this game. I can burn the English copy. It's Fico! What's up, buddy? And Nimix is back. Cracks me up too, like in the remake, people are like, the Sega Saturn version looked better. It's like, no, this does not look better at all. You are looking back through rose-tinted glasses. Yep, they are for the Nintendo Switch. Heard me. And people are like, this version looks better. It's like, no, not really. I'd say the new version does. And then people are also complaining like, well, it's not as sparse as the original. Like, you were just flying out in the open ocean and stuff. I'm like, you know, this was basically due to hardware limitations. Oh yeah. I think people are going to be really surprised about that when they play it again. Like the classic 2004 version. Yeah, that looks terrible. The new Battletoads is not looking good. They changed the Dark Queen's design, too, which I am not happy about. They're like, well, we can't have her in like a black, shiny latex leotard or something like that there and a cape. No. She's got to be covered head to toe in purple fabric, which is like non-revealing because the children, you gotta think of the children. It's like, what is this? And it's like CalArts style, like California Arts art school, which is like basically make everything look the same. It's just, it's not looking good. Last I saw, that trailer was getting bombed to oblivion. Yeah, people will like the new WoW. The new old WoW, we'll call it. You know, they're going to say nostalgia, it's going to be neat, and it will be neat to see what it's like, but then after that, it's just like, okay, it's worn off. Yeah, the new Battletoads trailer. Let's take a look at this. 2019. Last I saw, it was just getting downvoted like crazy. The original trailer, Xbox gameplay trailer, 7.4 thousand upvotes, 16,000 downvotes. So that should tell you. Okay, so at the end of this little tunnel, that's what I'm waiting for. Okay, yeah, it is getting shot through, it is getting bombed out. Okay. Yep, Saturn memories was spot on the money, because I didn't remember that happening, I just remember, like, it all, like, caving in. Which is what happens in the new version. From the video that's come out from Gamescom in Germany. Is that it's all like, basically you're flying through and then the roof caves in, you fly out, and then you go through. You know, then you go up to the boss fight eventually. Yep, and people are like, oh my gosh, there's like, you can pee in this game. It's like, you can pee in every, there's some kind of urine in every Kojima game. Think back to like Metal Gear 1, you have the guard. Who was peeing there in Metal Gear Solid 2, Raiden gets peed on. After the Harrier fight. It's just like, it's nothing new. It's Kojima. But then they put Jeff Keighley in, who was like the biggest Kojima fanboy into the game as a fanboy. So it's like, wow, he's playing himself. That must have been hard to do. Oh no, missiles! It's gonna be more Kojima nonsense, but I mean, it's what it's known for. Yeah, it's best not to really think about this game too hard, really. It'll just hurt your brain. Now, please don't sue us, creator of Dune. Oh no! There was a rhythm game that went on each sale in the eShop for 97% off, or it was only $1 when it normally went for 30. What was the game, Mollusk? Supersonic Beat. Yeah, I have never heard of that one, so... I can't say I'm too surprised, really. I don't know, I think suing for coins would be a lot more interesting story. That's just me. You're not saving your coins for Astral Chain? Oh yeah, this was a lot of fun to rent back when the Saturn came out. So I did not own a Sega Saturn for many years. So I used to rent the consoles, I mean back when you could rent consoles and stuff like that. So I'd rent it and this was one of the games I would play. This and Wipeout I think were like the two that we rented. So I gotta say, like, actually, it's like the Sega Saturn and PlayStation didn't really interest me at first. I mean, I'd rented them, like, I played, like, Tekken, stuff like that, like, with my brother, and didn't have a memory card, so we had to, like, leave the machine on forever, because you don't turn it off. But, it was neat, but it's just, like, it didn't really interest me until, like, Metal Gear Solid came out. That's when I got my, so I got my PlayStation, and I didn't get my Saturn until, like, it was, like, basically discontinued just about, except for, it was, like, 1998. And then almost all my games I bought after that were, like, all import games, so... I think this is the level you're flying down a tunnel? Nope, you're at a military base. So this may be a rail shooter, but it's actually quite difficult. There is some challenge. Slowly fly. Alright, Jay. See you next time, buddy. Get some rest. Alright, so I think this is like usually I start to get my butt majorly kicked. But I think this is like the most interesting level though, because I think this is the one where you're flying down through the mine. Yeah. Yeah, shoot the tubes, dog meat. Yeah, have that for Sega CD. It's weird that I actually own physical Sega CD games, but I don't own a Sega CD itself. Couldn't spot him for a second. I'm like, where'd he go? Oh, that was way too close. I think, if I remember correctly, in this game, when you die, you go back to the start of the level. There's, like, no checkpoint system. It was the 90s. Where the game says, you got this far, screw you! No, I think Toho games just like destroy you right out the gate. It's like, oh, well, at least the shooters do. Yeah. And right back at the beginning of this episode, at least. Yeah, this 5 is where the game just gets absolutely insane. This one once and just got like so people may not realize that Street Fighter 2 the animated movie actually had a game on the Sega Saturn, which was pretty much just watching the movie. So I streamed that one time and Twitch blocked it. It's like, this violates so many copyrights, we have just, you know, we banned your we've gotten rid of your VOD. I tried to upload it because I recorded it myself offline, like through the other way, and it was And then YouTube just obliterated to hell with copyright strikes. It's like you're like it's banned worldwide. You can't play it. You can't show it. Nothing. I'll show it just like a tiny little bit. Let's see, where did I put this case? Panzer Dragoon. Let's put you back on the shelf. Go. Yeah, so this part of the VOD may just may totally destroy everything here. This may not exist on YouTube later when I archive it in about a month. So yeah, it's Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. An amazing resolution. No way would they let me be in Air Force with my hair like this.
チュンリーです。
何か。
シャドルの合同捜査について打ち合わせに来たのですが。
ベガを俺が倒す。
どういう意味かしら？
ベガを倒すのに応援はいらないってことさ。
ガイル少佐、軍の決定ですよ。
ベガを倒しゃいいんだろう。お互い頑張ろうぜ。
So yeah, so skip past the beginning part. You get to play as one of the cyborgs that was supposed to be like in the movie, like capturing data on everybody. So you're technically playing as that, like as one of the cyborgs going around, and you need to take pictures at the right time during fight scenes in order to improve your cyborg, because that comes into the ending of the game. And then afterwards you can actually fight, you know, against certain characters. Like you can fight against Ryu and with your own custom cyborg. It's kind of lame, but it's just basically this excuse to basically release the animated movie, a slightly edited version of it for the Sega Saturn. Okay, too far away still. $1964. He's an old man now. Remember, Japanese game. Released entirely has it in English. Because of course it does. Okay, I've never had that happen before. That was funny. I was like, what did I do? I swear it's always on stream when I capture weird things that I've never encountered. So you can hear like the shwing type sound means you captured what you're looking for, which is going to prove like your Dragon Punch stat. Make sure a robot isn't listening to your memories. So how is a robot able to see his memories at this point? I mean, that's some amazing robotics. But yeah, as if I keep playing this, it's literally going to get like my VOD deep sixed, but you get the idea. So I did a full playthrough of this. This takes like 90 minutes or something like that to go all the way through. Just all the different stuff loading and then extra things they added in on top of it. It's quite crazy, but it's fun. It's one of the things I like to have in my collection. All right, let's see. Here we go. I think I still have a save file for this. I should, I hope. Just played this in the arcade version the other night. But I was talking about the PlayStation, or the Sega Saturn version being really, really good. This is pretty much the only time we're going to see loading, just about.
Here you go!
X-Men versus Street Fighter!
So this is one of the few games I got. Like, when I first got my Sega Saturn, it was literally on clearance. There was a local store that had it. And it's not liking it for some reason. It's like, that's auspicious that it crashed right now. Let's try starting it again. But like, literally they had a Sega Saturn, and they had a couple of import games. They had X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Deep Fear, Samurai Showdown Collection, which was like 3 and 4. And, gosh, what else came with it? It also came with Daytona USA, Virtual Cop, and Virtual Fighter 2. And we got that, the system, the Virtua Stick, which is the arcade stick for the Sega Saturn, and what was called the ST key, the 4 megabyte card, whereas it basically lets you get past the region lockout and have the 4 megabyte support. My parents got all that all together for like $120. So it's like, best Christmas ever. Yeah, so apparently the Pseudo Saturn doesn't like this, so let me take out the Pseudo Saturn. Oh, I have it set, no wonder. Okay, I had the card actually set for 1 megabyte instead of 4. So it's bypassing the region lockout, but when it goes to like trying to load up all the RAM, it's just like, no, there's nothing there. There's not enough. So yeah, so my brother and I we're huge fans of X-Men vs. Street Fighter. I mean, we like the town we went to was about, we were stationed at a place called Minot, North Dakota, where there's like literally nothing to do. When people say there's nothing to do, there's always something to do. Up there was like nothing to do. Yeah, it's not like my Pseudo for whatever reason. Let me put in my Pro Action Replay I have. But there was an arcade in town, like where we went to school, so my brother and I, after school, because I drive a car, we just go to the arcade and just play games for about an hour or two and then drive home. So, I mean, we had dumped probably enough money into the Street Fighter, X-Men vs. Street Fighter arcade game where we should have just probably bought it. But then I got this with my Saturn, and it was like, okay, it's like there's no more reason to keep putting money this into the arcade because we have the perfect port at home. What is going on? Why is this not loading? This is me really concerned. Okay, that's fine. Okay, this is, yeah, so I'm having problems with the expansion card, I guess, because it didn't pick up the Action Replay Plus to bypass it. Oh no. I'm wondering if that port's starting to die then. Fortunately, I do have another Saturn. Actually, I own 2 Sega Saturns. So if one does crap out, I have another one available. Okay, it took it that time. Alright. Hopefully it continues to. Let's cross our fingers. Hopefully it works. Oh, well then. Isn't this just fun? Oh, there we go. Okay, it's like... I wasn't waiting long enough. Okay.
Yes.
This is what makes the Sega Saturn version interesting. You can pick the same character twice once you've beaten the game. So my brother and I would do like 4-player Juggernaut matches, you know, 4-player Gambit. That's why I consider this to be the superior port, because it just, it's like, it has everything there you need, and also more so. I mean, you didn't have this in the arcade. You know, you couldn't do 2 players on the same team, you know? It was awesome. Seem to only be getting mono sound. No, it's set for stereo. And that's it. That's all the loading. About 2 seconds. Compare this to the wonderful PlayStation versions that came out. Oh no! Ma chérie!
Cajun strike. Kinetic card, kinetic card, kinetic card, kinetic card, kinetic card, kinetic card, kinetic card.
Alright, here we go. Don't block.
Royal.
Yeah. That's what makes playing as 2 Gambits kind of interesting. Here we do it again. Oh, bummer. Knocked her out that time. But yeah, you get the idea. It's pretty crazy. Alright. But, you know, like I said, the thing, like, you can play as both characters is really cool, but you don't really see that brought up in, like, YouTube reviews or when people play it on stream or anything at all. It's like, I wonder if people actually knew that that was in there. Let's see. Blues. Ah, here we go. I haven't played these yet. Keeping with my... Oops. Not good. Sorry, I couldn't reverse Street Fighter. Let's see. Since I like FMV games, let's do some more. Of this game? Really? What happened? We kind of ripped off Mad Max 1 where things are bad, but they're not quite completely bad, and then wrote a book. Well, I remember reading the books for, like, Nintendo games like Metal Gear, like the novelizations of that, when I was a kid. You know, the Halo books are actually kind of interesting. So I kind of laughed when, like, they turned Reach into a video game. I'm like, Reach was like, Battle of Reach was like 45 minutes and they got their butts kicked. Then most of the novel about Reach was like the build up to it happening. But it was pretty cool though, the novelizations, like, they start going through and, like, showing Cortana, like, starting to break down and how she sees things, like, not quite working quite right with her. Because she's, like, reached her age limit for how long the AIs can run before they start having, you know, breakdowns. Which is cool. Alright, break and charge, or B and... Let's just put it A and B then, make it easier. Break and charge. And by the way, this is a Japanese game, did not get released in the States. Once again, everything straight off in full English. What I find really cool about this though, like Road Blaster, they've actually managed to port it to the Super Nintendo. You have to have like a RAM cart, like one of those specialized carts to do it. Okay. Customize presets. I have no idea what these are. Let's see. Oh, cool. Okay. So graphic mode's arcade. What if we do Saturn? I'm trying to figure this out. It's like, okay. Okay, so you have to hold it all the way, I guess. Yeah, very sensitive. I got this like about 2 years ago. I'd never actually played it. But it's good enough for 4th place, apparently. Yeah, it is, like, super sensitive. If you let go just like a split second, like to try to get ready for the next move, it does not like that. Yeah, so this is like super sensitive. Alright, let's try the other one that's in the pack. It's like a interactive movie action. The other game is Thunderstorm, which I've played on MAME, which is like you're flying around in a helicopter. And they also redid this, like they released it for the, like, Android iOS, I believe it is. Thunderstorm mission. You have been ordered to get rid of terrorist group which is committing crimes all over the world. Piloting your ultra-modern jet helicopter. Okay. You have to confront your enemies. Carry out your mission. That's what it says on the disc itself. Oh, it's the 80s, alright. I think this came out originally in like 85? 84 or 85, I want to say. Yeah, I know you have like jets and stuff like that, but I'm just not familiar with what they call it, like they ever call a jet helicopter. Should we be engaging in populated areas? Whatever. You gotta wonder about humanity when you read stuff like that. YouTube comments sometimes. 1984 is when this game came out, okay.
Okay, Captain, let's knock him out of New York. Get up! Okay, Captain, let's knock him out of New York. Get up! Go down! Take a right, head downtown.
Yeah, so this is like super. It's kind of weird. Like it doesn't always register the hits.
Take a right, head downtown.
Why are we flying right in between the buildings? We could be right up above them. So I wonder if I switch over to, like, Saturn, if it tells you, like, when to do missiles. Alright, Mix. Catch you later, buddy. Yeah, I remember playing this in MAME and it not being, like, that hard. Yeah, this actually was an arcade game. Kind of like Cliffhanger the other day I played it. I think I still have this on MAME, and the MAME version's not this hard. Let's see. Saturn. Now, there was actually the Castle of Caligostro game that came out, speaking of a cliffhanger, but it was on the PlayStation, and it's like a point-and-click game. Nope, the game's still finicky, so...
Okay, Captain, let's knock him out of New York. Head up! Okay, Captain, let's knock him out of New York.
It's like fit for like a G.I. Joe. Except for I'm not shooting red and green lasers. And you're not seeing me eject at the last second. Because nobody ever died in G.I. Joe, so I have no idea how anyone knew who won a battle. It's like no one died.
Take a right, head downtown.
Okay, so they have to have, like, probably active hitboxes at certain times, even though it's showing you, like, okay, this guy's going to shoot. Even when it's available, it's probably not the optimum time. Yeah, so you got to figure out where exactly, or when exactly to hit them in the shoot, so... So that's the screwy thing about this. Which I'm sure is still a lot of money. Hey, we get cool music now. Oh. But with that, we've reached the end of the stream, so thanks for hanging out, everybody. I do appreciate it. Wasn't sure if I was going to stream today or not because I had to sleep study last night. Tomorrow, I probably will not stream. I'll take the day off because I have early morning appointment for dermatologist for about my psoriasis, and then I have to see a rheumatologist for my psoriasis again because I think I may have psoriatic arthritis. It's like, goody. I'm just continuing to fall apart. And my back is killing me too, so yeah, I got appointments all day tomorrow. I'm going to be running around half around through town, so I'm going to be pretty tired. So I'll probably be back on Saturday streaming. I really want to do a Bayonetta 2 speedrun, so I'll probably just do that, and it'll be rusty, but it'll be fun. I haven't done it in a while. Since I have whiskey again, I will be able to do a speedrun. I can basically drink it up to help kill the pain. But thanks for hanging out, everybody. Of course, Hold Your Fire, Nimix, Jay came out, so did Fico, which I haven't seen in a while. And of course, anybody else who lurked, always welcome to my stream. So I do tend to stream to get my closing spiel, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you don't know when that is, type into Google. It'll tell you for wherever you are in the world. You can also check me out on Twitter at Wursel555. I always post up around 2 or 3 hours in advance of a stream what I'll be playing and what I'll be doing and if I need to cancel or not. So once again, no stream on Friday, but I will be back on the 24th Saturday with a stream shooting to do Bayonetta 2. So cross your fingers, it'll be fun. So thanks for hanging out and see you next time.